Okay, so it looks like we're live. We'll give just a few moments for people to join, and then we'll get started with the presentation. Okay, everyone. So good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Veronica Elkins. I'm a Cultural Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Bishkek, and I'm joined today by
Ainura Japarova. I'm Public Engagement Specialist at the Embassy.
So today's information session is an opportunity to talk about a notice of funding opportunity that we published recently on our website. The opportunity is to implement the Embassy's C5+1 Youth Council program. So before we get started, I do just want to be clear that this is a call for applications from organizations who are interested in implementing the program, not for students who are interested in joining the program. That application is a separate process. So all the information that you need on how to apply for this funding opportunity is available on the website in the notice of funding opportunity. But we want to give this information session as well to provide more context and background about the C5+1 Youth Council program and to give interested organizations an opportunity to ask any questions that they might have. So I think we can get started with the presentation. So again, this is a funding opportunity to implement the C5+1 Youth Council program. We're currently accepting applications, and we will be accepting them until June 16th, until 11:59 p.m. Bishkek time. So first of all, just broadly speaking, what is the C5+1 Youth Council? This is a program that the Embassy has had since 2016, and it's a program for a diverse group of youth from the 5 Central Asian countries and Afghanistan. Through the program, these youth receive leadership training, project management training, so that they can implement their own projects on topics of regional concern. And so really the main goal of this program is to develop a regional network of civically minded and civically engaged leaders from across Central Asia and Afghanistan who will work together to advance C5+1 priorities. Now, I know that C5+1 might not be a term that's familiar to everyone. C5+1 is actually a governmental structure, a ministerial platform between the governments of the 5 Central Asian countries and the United States. And through this platform, the governments work together on issues related to the economy, to peacekeeping and security, to human rights, and to the environment. So this program is providing youth from these countries an opportunity to engage on the same issues that their governments are engaging on. And so the key audience for this program, the people that the implementing organization will primarily be working with, will be English-speaking university students and high school students, also English-speaking, from the Central Asian countries and Afghanistan, as well as alumni of the C5+1 Youth Council program, meaning people that have previously been a part of the program, have either graduated school or for whatever reason are no longer part of the program, but wish to remain engaged. Within the program, we have opportunities for alumni to implement their own projects as well. And so alumni engagement is a really important component of this project. Because most of the in-person activities are based here in Bishkek, traditionally C5+1 Youth Council members have been studying at schools based in Bishkek. So, students from Kazakhstan, from Tajikistan who are studying here in Bishkek are eligible to participate. In recent years, we've also been looking to expand opportunities for virtual participation for, again, English-speaking youth from the 5 Central Asian countries and Afghanistan who are not based in Bishkek. And we definitely welcome creative and innovative proposals about how to improve that element, that virtual engagement. So again, the youth themselves are the primary target audience, the key group with whom the implementing organization will be working with directly, but we do have a number of secondary audiences for this program. And these are individuals that the youth council members, as they lead their own projects, will need to interact with. So your role as the implementing organization would be to help build the capacity of the youth council members to engage with these people. So to implement their projects, they may need to interact with media institutions, with representatives from the government, from civil society partners or private companies, non-governmental organizations. So, students might not necessarily have the contacts that they need or the skills that they need to reach people in these positions. And so your role as an implementing organization would be to help the youth council members reach these secondary audiences.
Mm-hmm. There are specific objectives of the program, C5+1, and one of them is increasing understanding knowledge of participants on U.S. foreign policy and C5+1 priorities in the region, which is very important objective for the program. And also the second one is increasing connectivity between English-speaking Central Asian and Afghan students attending Central Asian universities. So through the activities and programming, it is possible to connect English-speaking youth of Central Asian and Afghan students through this C5+1 project. And also another objective of the program is to foster youth leadership by developing critical thinking and project management skills. Through specific youth-led projects or other networking activities, it is possible to improve critical thinking and project management skills of youth, which is beneficial for the program itself and for achieving other goals and objectives of the program in Central Asia. Another also objective is develop and execute community-based projects led by the program participants and C5+1 program alumni. So C5+1 project gives opportunity for the youth members of the council to implement on projects. So the C5+1 Youth Council provides small grants to youth to implement their own initiatives and projects within the C5+1 agenda topics. And the same opportunity is going to be given to alumni of the Youth Council. At this time, we have 136 alumni and about 67 Youth Council members. The last objective here is demonstrated increased collaboration between C5+1 program. Increased collaboration between C5+1 alumni and English-speaking high school and university participants through mentorship opportunities. So through the specific program activities, it is possible to achieve collaboration between alumni and English-speaking high school and university students through different opportunities that you can demonstrate in your project proposal. C5+1 Youth Council program should be implemented within the C5+1 agenda. So there are some priorities we identified: peace and security, economic growth, energy, environment, and people-to-people connections. There are three groups of institutions and organizations eligible to apply. The first one, Kyrgyz Republic registered universities and educational institutions, and Kyrgyz Republic registered non-for-profit civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations, associations, think tanks, and academic institutions. And also U.S. non-governmental organizations, educational institutions. Oh, sorry. Sorry. And the last one, U.S. non-governmental organizations, educational institutions partnering with Kyrgyz Republic registered organizations. Yeah. If you already noticed that in the NOFO, so in our announcement, you could already identify specific documents that you have to apply. So here we listed several documents, and if you have questions, please ask questions. So we requested application form and the proposal you can see in our announcement, and applicant organizational information the same. We provided the template and other 3 templates for the budget and performance monitoring plan form. And the last one, I don't see that here.
The budget.
And the budget, yes. So you can see the 2 options to apply to the program. One is you can submit the materials directly to the following email address: Bishkek project proposals. That's StateCov, at StateCov. And also you can also submit all application materials through grants.gov. So we can go through these 2 opportunities, especially we can show the grants.gov, where you can see all listed materials and templates in one through one link. Mahabat, could you please help us to demonstrate the grants.gov, which is important resource to see all documents in one place, templates. So it will be easy for you to just download documents from this. And yes, thank you so much. And this is our announcement. And if you go to the related documents, 3rd page, and you can see all listed application templates. So organizational information template, budget, monitoring and performance, and yes. If you have any questions, please reach out us and ask questions. So this is all we need from you, and you can read more information in the announcement. Also, we have another a link on to the website of the U.S. Embassy. Mahabat, could you show the U.S. Embassy website, please? Thank you. This is a website to the embassy, and this is the same announcement, but the difference is that you can, if you go to the on the right side to the Russian or Kyrgyz page, you can find out NOFA. NOFA is the announcement call for proposal information in Russian or Kyrgyz. Maybe this will be very helpful. But the full package of the templates you can find out through the grants.gov that I demonstrated before. And Mahabat, if it's possible, could you send these 2 links to the chat so that viewers can see these 2 links in the chat as well? Thank you.
And so I believe that concludes our presentation. But if we have any questions from anyone who's watching, we're happy to take those now. Okay. Hello, Alato.
Hello.
So the question is, how many objectives of the program do we have to cover? All of them, or can we take 1 or 2? So we are looking for proposals that will cover all of the objectives listed in the notice of funding opportunity.
You're welcome to ask questions related to the NOFO call for applications. Please.
And we can also take questions in Russian or Kyrgyz as well if needed.
Мгм. Вы можете также задавать вопросы на русском, кыргызском, если хотите, пожалуйста, задавайте.
So how do we have to collaborate with the council? Will you provide contacts? So that's a very good question because this program has been running for several years, we do have a youth council already in place that already has a number of students. And so we, of course, would like for these students to continue in the program. So we would facilitate handing over the contacts to the implementing partner if needed.
Мгм. What kind of expenses should be included in the
So what kind of expenses should be included in indirect costs? So indirect costs would be anything related to your organizational costs that are needed to support the program, but maybe are not directly going to program activities. So some organizations have a negotiated indirect cost amount. You can also put in indirect costs, things like internet, for example, if you need them for your organization to be able to operate in order to implement the program, but it's not necessarily, for example, participant travel or something that would be a direct project activity.
Can I add?
Please.
And one of important features for the indirect cost is that every indirect cost should be related to the C5+1 Youth Council program. So anything additional you need to implement, for example, additional trainings or, as Veronica said, some organizational administrative costs, but everything should be linked to the program. So we will be looking through the indirect costs and consider whether it relates, do you need this to implement the C5+1 Youth Council project?
Mm-hmm.
While people are giving questions, maybe I can tell a little bit about C5+1 Youth Council, which started in 2016, and the implementer was American University in Central Asia, which started from like a group of 10, 15 young people. But now, as I mentioned before, we have 67 Youth Council members and about 140 alumni worked in C5+1, which started to engage with students and high school students and university students in Bishkek, but later we started to engage and attract members from universities in regions as well in Kyrgyzstan. And previously, like C5+1 has implemented their own projects only in Bishkek, but we started to, the C5+1 started to implement activities in the regions of the Kyrgyz Republic as well.
So in the application form, we can see that we have to provide the name of the book. Is that a mistake? So I do wonder, this might be the application form for the book translation program.
Yeah, I think it's some technical mistake.
Because to my knowledge, yeah, there's no book associated with the C5+1 Youth Council.
Mm-hmm. Since that time, actually, what has changed, C5+1 started to engage with youth and experts from Central Asia and Afghanistan as well. So they invited experts, participants, high school and university students to all their youth-led and alumni activities, traveling from Central Asia and Afghanistan to Bishkek. So this became a really hub of youth working and interacting, engaging within the Central Asia and Afghanistan.
And it's a unique opportunity for these young people to have the chance to build their leadership skills, their project management skills. We've seen some really creative and effective projects that young people have implemented through the program. They've done things like organize debate cups that touch upon issues of regional concern. They've had conferences on transport connectivity, moot court competitions on free speech. So it really is a very creative and very motivated group of young people that are in the C5+1 Youth Council, and I think it's a wonderful, unique program.
And this is a great opportunity for not only covering specific topics which are important for the regional connectivity, security, economic growth, and people-to-people connections, but also a great opportunity platform for the youth to work with in a diverse group of culture. And so you can see that through the Youth Council, young people from all Central Asia and Afghanistan, they implement together the one project and several projects together. So, and we learned that from alumni and members from, for example, Tajikistan and Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, they were so excited to resolve or contribute to resolve specific problems and contribute to resolving specific problems in Central Asia and specifically in Kyrgyzstan. And they're excited to be part of this Central Asian culture and economic and social growth. There is a question in the application. Or can you see it?
This is the one we answered.
Okay.
Yeah, so if there aren't any further questions, I think that, excuse me. What will the role of the council members be? Do they have to be key actors? Yeah, so again, a lot of the key activities of the C5+1 Youth Council program are led by the youth council members themselves. So those youth-led projects that we mentioned, the conference, the debate club, those are all entirely organized by youth with support from the implementing organization. So the youth themselves are responsible for coming up with the project idea, for drafting a budget, and for doing all the logistical organization, for inviting participants, and for ensuring a smooth event the day of. That said, recognizing that they are young people and that a key focus of this program, the C5+1 Youth Council program, is to build their capacity as leaders. The implementing organization and their staff will be expected to provide support and oversight for those activities. So in a sense, the C5+1 Youth Council staff team, the staff team of the implementing organization, have a sort of mentorship role for the Youth Council members. We did not get the link to the... Thank you, Mahabat. So I believe that Mahabat just placed the link in the chat. But again, the funding opportunity is available both on our website and on grants.gov. And grants.gov is where you can find all the necessary forms that you need to apply for this program opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. And also C5+1 Youth Council gives opportunity for alumni to implement their own projects. We have small alumni program, which is also another opportunity programming, and the alumni, they can implement their activities not only in Kyrgyzstan, but also in own home countries in Central Asia. And every year we have alumni reunion of all alumni, and they do several networking events throughout the year. And the core of the program of the C5+1 is definitely a youth-led project. So all activities, opportunities, and programming should go through giving opportunity to youth to implement their own activities. And we had outstanding opportunity for youth to implement their activities through youth-led projects. And the staff, C5+1 Youth Council staff, they were their mentors and they could help them to implement their own activities. Какой процент административного расхода должен быть в общей сумме бюджета? What is the percentage of administrative costs should be out of the total budget?
So in terms of percentages for the budget overall, that's up to your organization to look at your costs, to think what you think is reasonable. Part of the review panel process, when we'll be considering proposals from different organizations, we'll be evaluating the budgets. And so in general, budgets that have high overhead costs that do not have the money going directly towards program activities will not be as competitive. We're looking for budget efficiency, if that makes sense. So organizations that have the ability to really make the most of the money that is available, the funding that is available, and ensure that as much as possible goes directly to program activities. And I know if you want to provide a response in Russian as well.
Ну, у нас, I didn't catch every word, but I can, my
Summarize.
own opinion. У нас нету конкретных процентном соотношении требований к административным расходам. В основном они должны быть расходы административные реалистичными. То есть мы будем смотреть те или иные расходы реалистичные для того, чтобы реализовать программу. У нас нет специального требования в процентном соотношении к административным расходам.
Yeah. So members from other countries, Afghanistan as well, should be included in project activities. Yes. So again, the Youth Council members themselves are coming from the 5 Central Asian countries and Afghanistan. As I mentioned earlier in the presentation, often that means students that are physically present in the Kyrgyz Republic that are studying here. And so for Afghan students, for example, many of the Afghan members that are currently in C5+1 Youth Council are studying at the American University of Central Asia. So in your proposal, you don't necessarily need to budget for travel from the other countries, although you're certainly welcome to do so. But yes, the expectation is that the Youth Council will continue to be a diverse group representing the 5 Central Asian countries and Afghanistan. Oh my gosh.
Oh, there is again.
No. All right.
Previously, C5+1 Youth Council members from Central Asia and Afghanistan, they also invited to their conferences and activities experts and participants from Central Asia and Afghanistan as well. So like several years ago, even before the pandemic, it was possible to invite experts and professors from Afghanistan, and we had author symposium and other even debate hub and other activities where we had experts from Afghanistan as well. So it was the last question.
Okay. So again, thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope that your organizations will apply for this opportunity. We look forward to reviewing your proposals. And if you do have questions after the fact that weren't answered today, you can write to Bishkek Project Proposals, and we'll do our best to get you an answer in a timely manner. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, and you're welcome. You can reach us through the email. We will be happy to help you.